question that was asked a while ago,
domin mu amsa tambayar da aka yi ɗan lokaci da ta shige,
I will call on the convention representative of the financial department.
zan
to
kira
come
shi
and
wanda ya
give clarity.
wakilci sashin kudade da kuma tattali na convention ya zo ya amsa wannan tambaya.
Good morning.
Ina kwanan mu?
I have some questions here in respect of the promotion we made yesterday.
Ina da wasu tambayoyi nan akan wasu jaddadawa da na yi jiya.
And I will respond to some of them now.
Zan amsa wasu daga ciki yanzu.
Okay, let me start with this one. According to the new qualification, maximum year is 45. By this new policy, is the convention reviewing the year of service from 35 to 45? Yes.
Bisa ga tsari da aka sake yi dama can ana amfani da 35 ne, yanzu tambayan shine convention tana canzawa daga 35 zuwa 45 kenan, yace haka ne.
So you remember what we said yesterday was that either to up till this present moment, the year of contribution, the maximum year of contribution is 35 years or 65 years, whichever one comes first.
Jiya kun tuna na ce tattali da zaka yi kana dan bada ajiya shekara 35 ne na lokacin da kake aiki ko kuma shekara 65 na shekarun haifuwa. Kowanne ya zo farko.
But by the new policy that will take effect from 2023, that has been extended to 45. The 35-year maximum year of contribution has been extended to 45, which means you can contribute for maximum year of 45 years, provided you are not 65 years of age.
Abun nufi anan shine bisa ga sabon tsari yanzu ba shekaru 35 kawai zaka siya kana bada wannan adashi ko kuma kana tara kudin ba, amma 45 ne.
I think that is understood.
Ina fata mun gane wannan.
So that is that in respect of that. Please.
Wannan shine ansan wannan tambaya.
And let me make this correction. Yesterday, I think I said something that the year of pension, of collecting pension has been moved from 45 to 55. I think not the year really, it should be age. Sorry, that shouldn't be year. The year of collecting pension benefit is the debt. It doesn't have any limit. As once you are still alive, even if you are 200 years, you will continue to get your pension.
Jiya bari na yi gyara akan wani abun da na faɗi jiya. Ba ina cewa zaka ci gaba da bada wannan kudin zuwa shekaru 45 bane kawai. A'a, abun da nake cewa muddin kana raye zaka ci gaba da an san wannan sakamako na wannan pension har sai ka mutu.
So year of collecting pension is the debt, but I wanted to emphasize was age of collecting pension. Age. It will be age of collecting pension, which has now been moved from 45 to 55. And by implication, what it means is that if you retire before the age of 55, you have to wait until you are 55 years of age before you can get your pension benefit. If your year of contribution, if you qualified for the pension anyway.
Abun da yake cewa idan ka yi ritaya a shekara ta 45 to zaka jira sai ka kai 55 kafin ka fara karban sakamakon pension naka.
I think I've clarified that.
Ina fata na bayyana wannan.
All right.
Now,
okay. This other question says, please, sir.
Wannan tambayan kuma shine.
Let me just finish reading. If your church is not paying you using the NBC salary scale, and you are at 55 years to 50 years, you are 50 to 55. You can't be 55, then you come back to 50 again. You are 50 to 55 years and want to enroll yourself in pension scheme? Can it be possible?
Tambayan shine idan ikkilisiya ka dama ba sa biyan ka bisa ga tsarin da convention ta yi na biyan albashi, sai yanzu kana shekara 50 zuwa 55, yana yiwuwa ka sa kanka a cikin wannan tsari ta pension?
Yes, it is possible, provided you are under 55.
Yana iya yiwuwa muddin kana wannan shekaru ta 55.
And what that means is that if you are below 55 years, you have 10 years to collect minimum pension. That is 55 to 65, which is the maximum year of retirement, unless it is extended. But for now, the age of retirement has not been extended. It's only the year of contribution that have been extended from 35 to 45. So if you are within age 55, you are qualified to enroll to pension.
Wannan ya nuna cewa idan kana tsakanin shekaru 55, to ya nuna cewa ka cancanta ka sa kanka a cikin wannan tsari ta pension.
But my problem is now you raise an issue that your church is not paying you in line with the NBC salary scheme.
Amma damuwan shine ka ce ikkilisiyarka ba ta biyan ka bisa ga tsari na convention.
So that is a kind of arrangement between you and your church. And well, that could be possible, but if you let it be known to your church that please, even if you are not paying me my salary, I don't want my future to tamper with. I will want you to place me on the appropriate salary scale that I should be for pension purpose.
Wannan shiri ne tsakaninka da ikkilisiyarka, ya yi ka iya ce masu to ko ma ba ku da karfin biya na albashin da ya cancanta na kowane wata, kar ku yi wasa da yanayi na pension domin rayuwa na nan gaba kenan, ku sa ni daidai bisa ga tsari na convention.
So if that agreement is reached between you and your church, then nothing stop you once you are still below 55.
Wannan yarjejeniya ne tsakaninka da ikkilisiyarka, ya nuna cewa ba abin da zai hana ka yi tsakanin shekaru 50 zuwa 55.
I think that is answered.
Ina fata na amsa wannan.
All right, let me move further. This one says, you outlined that 16 plots of land allocated to individual that can build his private apartment. The question is, whose property now if someone already built on the convention land?
Mai gida ka ce, an riga an ba da filaye kusan 16 domin wanda yake da niyya ya gina gurin kwana na kansa, to tambayan shine to idan wani ya gina gidan kwana da kansa da kudinsa, wannan kayan wane ne kenan?
Well, let me answer it this way, because all I know is that the arrangement here, what I know is that the property you have on the land belongs to you. Whoever get a plot, whoever the convention allocate a plot to, whatever structure you have on that land belongs to you, but the land belongs to the convention.
Bari in faɗi wannan domin in bayyana. Wannan ya nuna da cewa idan kai ne ka gina wannan gidan domin an baka filin, wannan gidan naka ne, amma filin na convention ne.
One house, please. Let me make myself clear. One house.
Bari in bada bayani da kyau. Mu yi hakuri mu saurara mu ji bayanin.
Listen now, let me tell you what it is there.
Bari in gaya muku in fahimtar da ku akan abin da nake nufi.
Do you know that during the era of the white men, that is our missionaries, most of the property, the land they acquire, were on lease. Do you aware of that? The structure you have on those land belongs to you, but the land belongs to the original owner. But within the period of the lease arrangement, you have the title deed to that property until the lease arrangement expires. And that's exactly what we are saying in this regard.
Mun sani a zamanin da Turawa sun gine-gine a kasashen mu 'yan Najeriya, amma lokacin da abun za su wuce, wannan kasan namu ne, amma kayayyaki nasu ne. To haka ne a yanzu nan ma kana da wannan suna cewa kana da wannan kayan, amma kasar da na convention.
So what the arrangement in this case is also, it's just like a lease agreement, whereby the convention is leasing part of its land to you to have some structure on it, a kind of structure on it.
Wannan ya nuna akwai yarjejeniya tsakaninka da convention tana ara maka wannan filin domin ka yi ginin ka, so akwai yarjejeniya ta aro a tsakaninku.
And you will be paying just a token as a fees for leasing.
Za ka ba da wasu kudade domin wannan aron.
I think that is understood.
Ina fata mun fahimci wannan.
Now, another question here is the issue of the pension premium. At times, some pastors are collecting just a stipend, but manage to pay pension from their own sweat. But the convention pension scheme is saying, except the church pays 20% before the pastor pension will be received. Please explain it if what I said is right.
Wasu pastoci tambayan shine suna dan samu kudade kadan ne suna dan tallafawa a yanayin pension nasu domin ecclesia kila bata da karfi. Sannan convention tana ce sai ecclesia ta biya kaso 20 kafin wannan abun ya dace a yanda ya dace. To idan haka din ne yaya za a yi? Ka dan bayyana mani.
That is exactly what I said.
Wannan abun da nake nufi kenan dama.
And so let me marry it with this question again. There is another question here again.
Bari hada da wata tambaya kuma da ta kamanci wannan.
I will now join the two together. Somebody asked, what will be the fate or end of pastor in rural or poor churches that can hardly pay their pastor less than 10,000? How can such church send money for pension? That is one. And what is the role of the convention in improving the welfare of a pastor, apart from adding to the pension money sent by the local church?
Tambayan shine akwai wasu kilisoyi a ƙauyuka wanda da ƙyar ne ake samun kudaden sai ana kokari a ga an tallafa har ma na pension din. Wasu kilisoyi suna samu su da wahala. Yanzu nan tambayan shine banda kudin da kason da convention take ba da shi da tallafa ma pastoci da suke wannan tsari ta pension, wani hanyoyi ne kuma convention take bi domin tallafa ma irin wayannan pastocin?
I think the first one I read was asking whether there can be a kind of a way of having consideration for such people, for such churches that cannot pay the pastor's salary, and or that cannot pay convention due, and which is attached to paying the pension, because it is once you pay the convention due that your pension can be received. I think that was what the first one was saying.
Kamanceceniya tsakanin akwai wani abin da convention za ta iya yi domin ta ce sai an biya kaso 20 din nan na tsarin convention. So akwai wata hanya da convention za ta iya bi domin ganin ta tallafa ko kuma ta magance irin wayannan damuwoyi?
So the other one was asking for what convention can do to help such a pastor.
Sai wannan shi ma yana tambayan cewa menene convention za ta iya yi domin taimaka ma irin wayannan pastocin?
Now, I see what happened in this way is that, like the first one that asked question that was attached to paying convention due. You know why we are doing that was that if the convention says, okay, don't worry, if you cannot pay your convention due, bring your pension, we will collect it. Now, the question was that maybe the pastor was the one augmenting the pension from his own, or was looking for a way of paying his pension. Fine, that is good. There's nothing bad in that. But the problem that is in that is that if the convention starts collecting that, we are not helping the church, we are not helping the pastor, and we are not helping even the convention itself. I will explain why I said that.
Abun da yake cewa kila tambayar shine okay, idan har pastor ne yake bada nashi kason na pension, sai ecclesia ba ta da karfi ta bada kasanta 20 na convention. So na tambayar shine okay, yaya za a yi convention ta taimaka ma irin pastor? Yace idan har pastor yana bada dashi ne daga ajuhunsa na pension ba damuwa, amma idan muka yadda haka ya kasance cewa ecclesia ba ta bada kasanta na 20 na convention, to ba ma taimaka ma ecclesia nan, ba ma taimaka ma pastor, ba ma kuma taimaka ma kanmu. Zan bayyana muku me yasa nace haka.
You see, the drive in this case for collecting the pension fund is for collecting the 20% is the pension. That is the drive. That, if you want, is rather, for collecting the pension scheme is the 20%. That is the drive. And if you are now saying, don't worry, bring your 20%, just bring the convention, your pension premium. Don't bother about whether the church can pay the 20% or no. What will happen is that pastor will relax. He will not do anything again in that church, even to make the church grow.
Abun nufi shine idan muka ce to ba damuwa pastor na iya kawo nashi tsari na pension, ba damuwa ko ma ecclesia bata bada nata kaso 20 na convention ba. Abunda muke cewa pastor zai koma ya je huta, ya ce rai na zo naka huta, ba damuwa kuma ba mu taimaka mishi ba.
Because the pastor know that there is nothing forcing him to work harder, so that there is no force again, there is no drive again to work harder in that church to make sure that the church meets certain need or certain demand before his pension can be collected. Once the pension is collected, the pastor relax. So we are not helping the pastor because the pastor will continue to make up for that money forever from his own purse.
Damuwan shine idan ba a bada wannan tsari yanda ya kamata ba, cewa church ta bada nata kason 20, to pastor zai koma ya ce to ba damuwa, kuma wannan ba mu taimaka pastor ba domin zai ci gaba da bada shi daga ajuhunsa har matuka.
And also we are not helping the church because that church will remain as it were also forever, because there is no drive. The pastor relax, the church will not grow.
Kuma ba ma taimaka ma ecclesia domin ecclesia ba mamaki za ta zauna kamar yadda take har matuka, domin ba ma taimakon pastor, babu wani abun da ke rinjayensa yayi abun da ya kamata, ecclesia kuma babu wani abun da ke izata yake ingaza ta domin ta yi abun da ya dace ta yi.
But once the pastor knows that for collecting his pension, he has to build that church to a certain level that the church also can sustain itself by meeting its statutory responsibility, which is paying the pastor's salary, paying the pastor's pension premium, and at the same time paying convention due. But by the time the pastor knows that he has to work harder to ensure that that church grows to that level, the pastor will not do anything. But once the church grows to that level, the pastor will be relieved from making up for his own pension out of his own purse. Because the purse will grow to the level of paying his salary, the church will grow also to the level of paying his pension, the church will grow to the level of paying the 20%.
Amma idan muka yi haka za mu taimaka ma pastor shi ma iyakacin kokarinsa domin gina ecclesia ta yi girma yadda zai kai ta iya biyan sa albashin shi da kuma iya bada kasonta na convention ta kuma bada kason pension nashi.
And at the same time, when I say we are not helping the convention, is that it's like that pastor will be reaping from where he does not sow.
Dalilin da yasa nace ba mu taimaka ma convention ba shine ya nuna cewa pastor zai rika girbi a gurin da bai shuka ba.
You remember that I said the convention made some contribution to pension scheme from your 20% that you give to the convention. Now, if the church pastor, if that church does not make any contribution to the convention in terms of 20%, it means the convention now will be looking for money elsewhere to make up for that pastor that is already in the scheme.
Ya nuna da cewa pastor zai ci gaba da girbi yanda bai shuka ba, domin na tuna na ce muku jiya da cewa akwai wani kaso wanda convention ta kan bada shi dangane da yanayin pension na pastor. So idan haka bai faru ba, to ya nuna cewa ba za a samu kason da convention za ta bada shi domin ta inganta pension na wannan pastor.
So in essence, what we are saying, the reason why the convention is saying that is that let the pastor, wherever you are too, please work harder to grow the church so that the church also can sustain itself by meeting those statutory responsibilities.
Abinda convention take kokarin yi shine duk inda kake aiki kai kokarin inganta wannan gurin aiki domin ecclesia ta yi abinda ya dace domin a kai gaci ga duk abinda muke kokarin shirin yi.
But that does not mean we don't use, at times we collect too, but it depends, it depends on its own. The situation comes and we'll look at the merit before accepting such, but not in all cases.
Akwai wata yanayi da ke iya samu ya tilasta mu amsa kudaden ba wacce ba mu amsa ba, amma ya danganta ga yanayi da muka samu kanmu.
So we treat it as the situation arises.
Mukan karba yayin da yanayi ta bambanta.
I think that is that in respect of that. Then the question, the other person says that how can convention improve the welfare of the pastor?
Tambayan shine ya za a yi convention ta inganta walwala da jin daɗin fastoci.
Apart from adding to apart from what the convention is doing to their pension something, how can again the convention improve the welfare of the pastor?
Banda yanda convention ta kan dan bada wasu kaso daga nata asusu zuwa da asusun pension. Akwai wata hanyoyi da convention za ta inganta walwala da jin daɗin fastoci.
Convention has been doing that too. So the convention has been doing this, but you should also know that this is limited to whatever the convention has. You can't give what you don't have.
Amma mu sani da cewa convention ta kai iyakacin kokarinta ne bisa ga karfinta domin ba za ka bada abin da baka da shi ba.
And that's why we are saying let us be faithful in our 20%. If you are giving much, the convention will set aside some money even to take care of some pastors that are in their need. But as it is now, there is little that the convention can do in that regard.
Ma'ana to mu inganta yanayin baisuwan mu domin mu ga cewa convention ta inganta yanayin tallafa ma pastoci ta wurin walwala da jin daɗin su. Amma a yanzu nan muna amfani da abin da muke da shi ne.
I think that is answered too.
Wannan ina gani na ansa.
Well, this question I don't understand. Maybe the person needs to explain better. He said, why can't Baptists centralize the payment of their pastors like other church for the easy payment of their pension? I don't understand anyway.
Yace bai gane tambayan ba, amma tambaya yana cewa me yasa mu a matsayin mu da rikan Baptist ba za mu kawo wata yanayi wanda ake biya pastoci gaba ɗaya na convention daga asusu guda ba kamar yadda wasu ɗariku suke yi.
So I don't know what he means by centralizing the payment. Already now the payment is already centralized already. I don't know what else he wants because you are paying directly to the convention. The convention is the one that is enrolling the pastor to the pension scheme, and we have only one central pension scheme. So I don't know what he meant by this
Ban gane wannan tambayan sosai ba domin mukan biya kason mu sannan convention kuma tana iyakacin kokarinta domin ba da kason ta ga pension namu. Ban san me yake nufi da wannan ba.
Maybe I think I want to say something in that regard.
Kila shi babanmu yana so ya faɗi wani abu game da wannan.
I am not doing current affairs because I've been out of system for a while. But I must say some few things. This system has contributed to building you. Whoever you become today as a Nigerian Baptist Convention pastor, you are a product of grace and a product of the system. Some people labored to make us who we are. And a good relay runner must make sure I pass the baton to someone else. Let me start on the issue of poor pastors around us. I couldn't resist sitting down and just watching.
Abunda yake cewa mu sani da cewa duk abunda muka zama a yau sakamakon aikin da wasu suka yi ne kuma yanayi na tsarinmu na convention shi yasa ya zama yadda kake yau.
Let me put it this way. When I was chairman of Pastors Fellowship in Lagos, that was about 20 years ago.
Lokacin da nake mai kujera na pastoci a Lagos kusan shekaru 20 da suka wuce.
We had what we call the pastoral aid scheme.
Akwai wani tsari da muka yi na taimaka ma pastoci.
And our intent was that I was pastoring a church that is fairly well-to-do. So out of my own salary, not the church, I'm supposed to set aside 5,000 naira that I'm sending to the pastoral aid scheme.
Kila ina zama a matsayin pastor da nake ecclesia da tana dan yi da kyau. So wannan tsarin ya ba mu yanci da cewa a cikin kudin da kake samu a matsayin albashin ka cire 5,000 ka kai ga wannan tsari da aka sa.
I'm not telling my church to contribute. What am I doing? Out of my own money, I'm saying that there is a pastor around me that will need help. And so everyone contributes to that scheme. And from that scheme, it is administered by pastors. Our brethren that are pastoring less advantaged churches would approach the committee and say, this is my situation. And because we speak the same language, it's not layman, nothing. There are those we place on 15,000. There are those we place on 20,000 from the money that is coming in from other pastors. We were not expecting money from Ibadan or from convention. We are running our own pastoral aid scheme.
Abunda
So when
yake
that
ce-
person said he was collecting 6,000 naira, I feel it's a shame on those who are around. I hope I'm making myself clear. We must rise to help another person. An association must have a scheme. We cannot help everybody. But if we are helping 3 out of 4, have we done something? Please. If you are waiting for the day they will sit in Ibadan, because I was there, I know that every day from the east, from the west, from the everywhere, from outside Nigeria, people are saying, can you give us something? And if you look at these general secretaries, they grow older. So please, I beg you, I'm not speaking for system, but it would be unfair for me to have gone through and not make this contribution. Secondly, Zach, rounding everything, the issue at the BICC, at the housing thing, I think we have a better scheme. I was talking to Professor Audi. When I was in Lagos in 1994-95, I used the redemption camp. I used it for my retreats. I went to the camp one time and they said, you have been coming here, can you build your house on this camp? And I laughed because I had never bought a property at that time. And they said, we'll give you a plot, you will pay for it. But there were 2 conditions that scared me. Number one, the house must be finished in 3 months maximum. If you enter that camp, you don't see any uncompleted building, do you? So if you have not raised your money to start and do what? And finish within 90 days, what do? Don't apply. Otherwise, if we give you land and you start constructing and you don't finish, we will reallocate another land to you. That one that you started is taken over. Number 2 is that the structure is such designed that conferees, when they come for annual conference, should be able to use 1 room out of the land that you have built. So when they go for convention, at that time, I don't know present policy, a place must be available for those who will come from outside that they can use. But they give you a design so that you can fit in. Now, I think the NBC is not giving you that. It is own and be there and fellowship with other Baptists. So I think it's a plus for our system. The Lord will provide money for us. You are not believers. Yeah. And lastly, it is not every time that you sow that you'll be the one to reap. My father worked for the Nigerian Baptist Convention faithfully for over 30 years. My father died in he started work in 61, he died in 1993. And when my father died, my mother, there was no house because we were thinking they would settle in Mubi. We never knew they had to relocate. So they got back to the southwest. There was no place for my mother to put her head. We were still coming up, and we wanted a place for my mother. And I approached the convention. By the time they calculated, they said because he died, they cannot be paying pension. And all the money, the check they gave me was 6,000 naira. For how many years? For 32 years. And I felt very bitter with the system. How can my father work so much for you and now nothing to receive? But God changed my perspective. It is not about he who sow. There are those who will sow. There are those who will harvest. Let me cut the story short. I'm a retired person, you know. And this is 8 years. And if I live longer, the convention will pay me for more than 20 or 30 years. What they did not pay my father, they are paying me, they will pay my child. There is always a harvest ahead. God bless you in Jesus' name.
Abin da yake cewa shine a takaice idan an samu wannan tsari da zamu rika taimaka ma yan uwan fastoci ba sai mun jira daga ibadan su taimaka mana ba zai zamanto da tasiri. Sannan kuma mu san da cewa idan muka duba yanda wasu suke gudanar da yanda suke tarurrukan su kamar su redeem ya sha bamban da namu, muna da shiri kyakkyawa fiye da na sauran. So mu iyakacin kokari domin ganin Allah ya taimake mu mara ma convention baya domin mu tafiya tare. Allah ya taimake mu.
I like to add that all of us seated in this hall has benefited so much from the convention. And it's simply because maybe we don't tell you. All theological institutions of the Nigerian Baptist Convention are heavily subsidized. Heavily subsidized.
Dukkanmu da muke zaune a nan mun riga mun ci riban convention, dalilin da yasa kila ba mu sani ba domin ba mu bayyana muku
If
ba.
you went
Amma
to any
dukkan
Baptist pastor school or any seminary or any Bible college, just imagine what you paid as school fees and think of what is being paid at Bowen, Babcock, name them, you know them, and compare with what you pay. What they are paying there in 1 year can train you for 4 years, and you will have change to keep in your pocket. And what made that possible is the Nigerian Baptist Convention, because they subvent to these schools. Yes, the schools also are sacrificing, because they also have to be paid very little to make that possible. If the teachers in theological school will ask for a university pay, you will not have anybody to teach you. I'm telling you the truth. You will not have one person to remain in any theological school to teach. So the convention and some other individuals that have sacrificed their lives made it possible for you to be a pastor. And if your church is not paying the 20%, convention cannot raise the money to send to the theological schools that will train you and that will provide libraries, that will pay for accreditation and all the other things that make those institutions to survive. And I think one of the areas we have failed as pastors is because we got many things easy, and we also failed to teach our churches to be good stewards and to be able to rise up to the occasion. And sometimes the way we behave makes the churches to also feel like there's no need to give. I think somebody gave an illustration yesterday when he was teaching. He said they asked him to come and pray. I don't remember who said it. Was it the rector?
Dr. Jim.
Oh, Dr. Jim. He said they asked him to come and pray in church. And he was thinking, he said, God, we have come again to gather for them. If they just added them, it's the pastor he was referring to. We have come to gather for him. Just help us that as we gather, it will be used wisely. So I pray that God will help us. I have planted churches in several places. And one of the secrets of helping them to help themselves is to teach them stewardship. One of the churches we planted not long ago, for 1 year, we did not collect 1 naira as offering in church. Until they started becoming very uneasy. And they were asking, each Sunday they will ask and say, are we not going to collect offering? Other people go to church and they give offering. Where we are coming from, we give offering. Why are we not giving offering? And we said to them, okay, now we will start to study about offering. What did the Bible say about offering? And we spent 14 weeks, 14 lessons to study about giving. Can I borrow so that I can give in church? If I don't give, will God hear my prayer? If I don't have, what should I do? Is it from what I have, or I should give beyond what I have? Before we finished the lessons, people were donating. And this church that started, it is not up to 3 years yet. The church was able to take a loan and buy a plot of land and have refunded the loan complete. And it is simply because we help them to understand when you are giving, you are actually worshiping. And that kind of a church will not wait for somebody to come and tell them, do this before they do. They know that they are responsible, and they will help and build their church and support those that they need to support. The Lord will help us.
abinda shi shugaba yake cewa shine yawancinmu da muke zaune a nan mun riga mun samu wata ɗanɗana sakamakon convention ne. Idan aka gaya mana abinda convention take ba da shi ga makarantun da muka yi, akwai rangwame sosai fiye da sauran makarantu. Ba da misali, idan muka je makarantarmu na Baptist na Bowen da sauran makarantu, za ku gane da cewa abinda ake biya makaranta a shekara guda ya isa ya ɗauki shekara 4 na makarantarmu. So mu san da cewa akwai rangwame da convention take ba da shi domin mu ga cewa mai makaranta. Bugu da ƙari ya ce dalilin da ya sa yake ganin kamar wasu fastoci ba mu damu da yanayin da ya kamata mu ba da shi ga convention da kuma sauran wurare ba, shine ba mu gane da cewa akwai bukata mu koyar da membobinmu yadda za mu kasance da wannan sani na wakilci ba. Idan kuwa mun yi haka to zai zama na da taimako.
Thank you. Please, I want to pass this information to us. The seminary has a very beautiful calendar for 2023. And the price is just a giveaway price. Just 500 naira.
Ita seminary namu tana da wannan kalanda wanda yake da gwanin kyau sosai, kuma kudin kawai farashin 500 ne kawai.
Please just go to the registry, you will get it there.
Idan muka je gaban makaranta za mu sami wannan kalanda 500.
Let me make this clarification on the driver's fellowship.
Bari in sanar da mu game da